Hello everybody, my name is Jeremy and welcome back to the Kanto region with a quick, short episode here, just wrapping up a couple of small things here in Pallet Town, the first of which is Professor Oak's lab. Now, I know I had said in previous installments of this series that I wasn't really planning on doing stuff like this, but, enough of you spoke about it, and, I decided it would be a little bit of fun, so I decided to go ahead and do Professor Oak's lab as well as Ash and Gary's houses. So what you're seeing on screen right now is the initial build of this episode, which is, Oak's lab. And before we get too far into this already extremely short build, let's take a look at my inspiration for this. So what you're seeing on screen right now is a clip from the Pokemon animated series, and what we see is kind of this. It's sort of like a split level house with some stairs leading up to it, and behind it is this kind of big wind turbine. And, in the anime it sits kind of on this gigantic hill, and I didn't really have that at the ready, so I just kind of put it up behind the tourist center, kind of on the road out of town in a remote sort of a place. Kind of made some sense to me to just set us there. And otherwise, I'm just kind of like putting it up on this pedestal so it sits pretty high above the road. You can see it from pretty much the entire city, which is pretty neat, or I should say town. It is Pallet Town after all. And otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward build. I used this red roof house and duplicated it next to itself to kind of create that split level effect. I didn't have a house that had that sort of arching top, and I didn't really care because honestly, that it's not realistic. You'd never see really a house like that in real life, or I guess you could possibly see a house like that in real life, but not in Japan, and otherwise not in the Cities Skylines workshop. So I just made it kind of like a more standard house. I made it kind of a split level onto this podium, and then I put a garage kind of flush against it, and I think it looks pretty nice. A lot of space for his work. I figure kind of like in this pedestal is maybe his lab space and his Pokemon storage area. And otherwise just giving it a little bit of landscaping to give it a little special attention. And then the final thing that we end up putting behind it is, of course, the wind turbine. The ones that are available in the Cities Skylines workshop are, they're either the big energy type or they're this farm type. I decided to go with the farm type just for a little bit of rural flavor on this thing. I thought it kind of made a little bit of sense and just kind of made it more of a wink than anything else. So now let's take a look at Ash's house. Here again from the Pokemon animated series, you can see he kind of has this very picturesque farmhouse that's off in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And, it's got a white picket fence. It's just kind of a plain wood house, kind of just sitting amongst a bunch of farms. In the video game, he lives right next door to Gary, so I will actually end up, adding that element to this as well. But here, we're just keeping it super simple. I have this nice country house. I know in the comic series, in the manga, if you will, Ash's mom actually operates like a boarding house out of their home. I think that's like what she does for work. It's never really explained in the animated series, I don't believe. Not that anybody is particularly asking for that. I don't think anybody is losing sleep at night over what Ash's mom does for a living. But in case you were wondering, that's what she does. Over here, I put a scarecrow in the field next to their house. I saw this picture online of the house that I was using as reference initially, and I thought I saw a scarecrow. Turns out it was a Mr. Mime. I was just looking at a very low resolution picture. And yeah, super simple. Nice, easy little build. Now, the thing about Gary's house is that we don't ever see it. I don't think they show it in the Pokemon animated series, at least not such that I've seen. So I'm just kind of taking some liberties here. I decided since he's kind of the antagonist of the series, I would make it seem really cold and sterile. I wanted it to seem like, his family's got money. They're related to the famed Professor Oak, after all, and just kind of made it look like a nice modern house that, maybe you could imagine a sort of a upper middle class bully living in. It's right next to Ash's house, and it's walled off from the rest of society because they're afraid of outsiders or something like that. And that's going to just about do it for the episode. I know this is a really quick one. That's why we're calling it a 6.5. This is not an official Kanto region episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next week in Viridian City.